Would you like to hire a real estate assistant but aren't sure which scenario works the best, whether you should have them in your office or virtually, or what you should do based on how busy you are and how you run your business? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about where to find a real estate assistant and what services to use to find them depending upon what scenario works the best for you. And if you like this video, hit the like button for me, subscribe to get more videos like it, and if you have any questions, post them in the comment box below. So when most people think about an assistant, they think of hiring somebody in their office. And in a lot of situations that makes sense. But there's some other situations like having them virtual in another area or in your area that may make more sense depending upon your business. So let's talk about that. When you think of a real estate assistant, what they're doing for you really makes a huge difference on where they should be located, and also how busy you are and what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Let me give you some examples. If you're running a larger team or a brokerage and you have a lot of agents doing the listing appointments and working with the buyers, then it probably makes the most sense to have somebody working out of your office if you have a centralized location. However, if you're just getting started with growing your team, and maybe this is the first assistant you hire and you're going to hire a generalist, maybe it makes more sense to hire them virtually. And there's a few different scenarios I'll explain there in a minute. But if they're in your office and you're gone all the time, I don't necessarily know that it makes the most sense to have them there. You have to pay for the desk, you have to pay for the space, you have to get more things prepared, and it costs more than just rent, and then he's also lowering the productivity of the assistant itself. So if you're in and out of the office all the time, you're going on listing appointments, you're meeting with buyers, and you're not there a lot, I would rather have somebody, if it was me, in my area, but virtual. Have them work from their home and have them come in and meet you once a week, twice a week, or work out of the office maybe on Mondays or Tuesdays or whenever you're going to be there the most. So if you're wanting to hire somebody in your area, and you want somebody who meets you face-to-face, belly-to-belly, maybe you don't like technology, then either in your office or locally in your area, but virtually, kind of a hybrid, doing a little bit of working from home and a little bit of working from the office, or working from a co-working space, or they're meeting you at a coffee shop if you want to get face-to-face with them, or they're helping you on a open house, or whatever it is. So that's one scenario, and I'll talk about the services to use based on the scenarios in a minute. The other one is if you're in a really high-end area where the cost of living is very expensive or the job market is really tight, another thing you may consider is hiring somebody in your country. So for example, if you're in America, hiring somebody in America but from another area that's more affordable. For example, if you're in San Francisco and you're in the Bay Area and it's really hard to get people and the people you get are really expensive, there's a lot of ways to get really good assistance for half the price of what you pay in your local area in another area outside of your, maybe in another area of California or in a whole nother state or across the country. In some situations, if you're on the East Coast and you want somebody to work later hours, maybe you go to a different time zone. So those are things that we've done. We've done it with our team, and we pretty much observe almost every scenario of this. We have people working out of the office. We have people in our local area who work virtually from their home and come in one day a week or every once in a while or when it makes sense or for a meeting. And we also have people in other areas of the country that may make more sense for us based on time zone differences and other things that we're looking for. So all of these are available. So if you're trying to hire somebody in your country, some of the best places to go and find them are the following. One is your sphere of influence and social media. Going on to social media and say, hey, I'm growing my team. Do you know anyone who has these qualifications? If so, have them contact me. Going to your friends, your families, your coworkers, other real estate agents in your office, and asking them if they know anyone who would make a good assistant or whatever position you're specifically trying to hire for. One spot I would always start with, especially for an assistant type of job, is Craigslist. It only costs $25 to place a job ad per location, and that's really cheap when you compare it to sites like Indeed.com, Monster, LinkedIn, etc. And then if you don't find people in those areas, and if you haven't yet found somebody to work on your team in those spaces, the other one service that we use a lot is Indeed.com and LinkedIn.com if we're trying to find somebody way more specific with experience, with skills in a certain area. Those are where we'd go. So that's how we find people for anyone who we're trying to find here in America, in our country. Now, another thing that we have done and that I would recommend you consider is hiring somebody from another country dependent upon the work. So if you're having somebody doing more like advertising your listings, and you're listing 10 new homes per month, and every time you get a listing, this, that, and that has to happen. Or you're need somebody to be a closing coordinator, and they need to manage all those details. Those are normally things that can be done virtually, especially something like advertising your listings. And it's something that you can create a process for. Hey, I want to use this service, and this. I want to enhance the photos. I need you to line up the photographer, or I'm going to take the photography myself and you need to make it look amazing. And you can create a process that can be repeated over and over and over again when you have a new listing or when you close a listing. And in scenarios like that, it's really easy to get it done for more affordable than you can normally do it in America, in Canada, in a first world country, doing it virtually. And if you decide to do that, I have a lot of other videos about this, but there's really good people, and if you're paying them, for an example, anywhere from $300 to $800 to $1,000 plus per month, you normally would pay 3 times that to 4 times that to have someone in the States do the same task. And you're changing somebody's life when you're in another country. Like, for an example, a lot of the countries we hire in, the average pay is anywhere from $100 to $300 a month. And that's like $100 is like they're starting their work career, and $300 is they're like manager and they've ascended the corporate ladder, so to speak. So when we come in and we're allowing them to work from home, their commute's not as bad. A lot of these third world countries, they're highly congested because their roads and their transportation system isn't great. So they're normally commuting an hour to 2 hours one direction to go to work for somebody else to make $300 a month. So if you come in and say you can work from home, I'll pay you $500 a month or $1,000 or whatever it is that makes sense, and you have them work for you virtually, you're impacting their life, you're making a huge difference to them, and they can do amazing work for you. So that's an option that I'd highly recommend you consider. And if you decide to go that route, there's 3 services that I would use. There's obviously more, but these are the ones that I would recommend. Upwork.com, Freelancer.com, and onlinejobs.ph. Onlinejobs.ph is for hiring people from the Philippines. We've gone that route a lot because they speak really good English, they comprehend well, and they do an amazing job. The culture is really good. They're happy, good people that we absolutely love working with. So that's another option. Obviously, if you don't, this is it, like if you want to do it yourself and manage them directly for you. Obviously, if you want someone else to manage them and somebody else to hire them and interview them and pay them and all that, there's services like myoutdesk.com, 123employee.com. There's others. I haven't used those yet. I've heard of them and heard good things of them and almost hired one of them before, but that normally will cost you 2 to 3 times of what it would cost you to do it yourself. So there's trade-offs and there's pros and cons, but that gives you a good idea of like, should I hire them in my office? Should I hire them virtually in my area? Or should I go virtual outside of my area or even in another country, and where to find them based on where you want to go? So that's kind of the tip of the iceberg. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. If you want to get a free guide that shows you exactly how to do this and kind of the step-by-step process, go to smartagents.com/assistant. And get your free guide. And if you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.